Vidya Mahajan. Today we are going to see your grade 6 social science. We are going to see social science series means social and political life. Chapter number 1 part 4. We are going to see a last part of this chapter. As you know, in part 3 I have told you, in next part we are going to see here two things, that is Ladakh and Kerala. These two cities we are going to see here. Now let's see Ladakh. Ladakh is a desert in the mountains in the east of Jammu and Kashmir. Very little agriculture is possible here since this region does not receive any rain and is covered in snow for a large part of the year. Now, where is the Ladakh? Yeah, if we see in the map of India, there we can see in the north side, upper side, the Ladakh. As you know that Himalaya mountain is upper side, so that's why it is a cold desert we can call. Now this is a mountain in east of the Jammu Kashmir. Then we have read here there is a no rain. Okay, so if there is no rain, how they are drinking water? How they are getting the water? Yes, they are getting the water by melting the snow here. Let's see, there are very few trees that can grow in the region. For drinking water, people depend on the melting snow during the summer's month. Now when they are getting for whole year, in summer months, the snow are melting there, then they are getting here the drinking water. Next, people here keep sheep and goats. The goats in this region are special because they produce wool. Now Kashmiri wool, that is the very famous in all over the world. That's we are going to see in this part also. They are packed the sheep, getting the wool from them, and it's sold to the traders, and then they are getting or earn the money here. And that shawls wool, buy this wool, that is very costly, we have seen there. The people eat meat and milk, products like cheese and butter. Each family owns some goats, cows, and young cows are there. Being a desert did not mean that Ladakh didn't attract its share to traders. Now what happened? Though it is a snow-covered area, it means not that they are not attracting the traders here. Yes, they attract the traders here. How? It was considered a good trade route as it had many passes through which camels traveled to what is today called Tibet. Now today we have called it the Tibet part. From there the traders are traveling and doing the trading there. These camels carried textiles and spices, raw silk and carpet. Now what things they are here trading? They are trading spices, carpets, textiles and raw silk. This and other things they have trading here by this way. And what they are eating here? They are eating the milk and meat here. These things we have seen here. Now next we are going to see here the next point, that is, and later we have completed the Pashma, the famous wools we have seen here. Now, which religions we have find here? That is, Buddhism reached Tibet via Ladakh. Now, by Tibet is come to the Ladakh, the Buddhism religion come by the Tibet. Ladakh is also called Little Tibet. Even the Ladakh is called a small or little Tibet here. Islam was introduced in this region more than 400 years ago. Before 400 years ago, we have seen here the Islam religion here. There is a significant Muslim population here, and that's why most of the people here are Muslims. Ladakh has a very rich oral traditions of songs and poems. Local versions of the Tibetan national epic, the Kesar Saga, performed and sung by both Muslims and Buddhists. Now local blocks we called it, that we have seen here by the Muslim and Buddhism. Now next point is our Kerala. See, when we have discussed these two cities, you have to see their atmosphere, how their culture, their eating or their wearing of dresses have changed. Kerala is a state in the southwest corner of India. It is surrounded by the sea on one side and hills on the other. Now Kerala is in the south side, downside of the Indian map that we have seen here. From one side you have seen the ocean, you have seen the sea, and other side you have seen there the hills. Next is a number of spices like pepper, cloves and cardamom are grown on the hills. It is spices that made this region. Now what happened? The spices, the cloves, so many spices things are grown up here. This made this region very rich of the spices that we have seen. Have you seen here these things? Look at here is the sea that we have seen here. Yes. Now what happened? It is spices that made this region an attractive place for traders. Jewish and Arab traders were the first to come here. The Apostle of Christ, St. Thomas, is believed to have come here nearly 2000 years ago. Now this place also attracted traders here for these spices. Jewish, the Arab traders who come here the first, and that's why the Jewish traditions most of effect on the people of this. Now the Christian people here told that the 2000 years ago he come here and he credited with bringing Christianity to India. Now before 2000 years ago the Christianity comes in India in Kerala. Many Arab traders also came and traveled here a little less than 700 years ago. Now many of the small traders of Arabs comes here before so many years ago. Ibn Battuta who traveled here a little less than 700 years ago. The one travelers of Ibn Battuta who come here 700 years ago, who wrote a travelogue in which he describes the lives of Muslims and says that they were a highly respected community. Now travelogue means who traveled and write his experiences in one book that is called the travelogue. In this travelogue he writes some experiences when he traveled. That the Portuguese discovered the sea route to India from Europe when Vasco da Gama landed with his ship here. Already we know here that the people who come first here from the other country, it is Vasco da Gama. In history we have seen this, the Vasco da Gama who come here before each year. Now next, because of all these various historical influences, people in Kerala practice different religions such as Jainism, Islam, Christianity, Hinduism and Buddhism. Some religions, Muslim, Christian, Jainism, Buddhism, all we can see in this state also. The fishing nets used here look exactly like the Chinese fishing nets and are called Chinawala. Even the nets used for flying is called China Chatti, and it is believed that the word Chin could have come from China. The fertile land and garnet are suited to growing rice, and a majority of people here eat rice, fish and vegetable. As you know, the Ladakh and Kerala, both states we are comparing here. Ladakh it is a cold desert and Kerala who is near to the sea, that humid atmosphere we have seen here. Now they are eating fish, meat, etc. rice they are eaten here. The Jainism, Buddhism, Christianity, that things we have seen here. Now next point is here. While Kerala and Ladakh are quite different in terms of their geographical features, like it is cold desert of Ladakh and humid of Kerala, that the geographical features differences we have seen here. The history of both regions has seen similar cultural influences, like like Buddhism, Christianity, all that we have seen Islam. That same we have seen there the influences. Both regions were influenced by Chinese and Arab traders. It was the geography of Kerala which allowed for the cultivation of spices and the special geographical location of Ladakh and its school that drew traders to these regions. Now in Kerala we have seen the farming is there, agriculture is their main occupation, and here in the Ladakh they are doing the wool trading is the main occupation is here. Now, the influence of diverse cultures is not merely a thing of the past. Our present lives are all about moving from place to place from work, and with each move, our cultural traditions and way of life slowly become part of the new place we are in. Similarly, in our own neighborhoods, we live close to people from several communities. Now, if in India we go from one states to another states, one city to another city, that their geographical changes and then the places we are work, it is different from each other. The cultures also different. The same as it is in your surrounding, in your community, when you are observing the most of people living closely, there are different works they are doing. Our daily lives are about the ways in which we do things together and hear stories about each other's lives, customs and traditions. So, of them on we are also shared about our lives, traditions, all that things we are learning in a one place. That is the things we are seeing here. So, our next point is unity in diversity. India's diversity has always been recognized as a source of its strength. When the British ruled India, women and men from different cultural, religious and regional backgrounds came together to oppose them. India's freedom movement had thousands of people of different backgrounds in it. Now let's see. In our history, we have seen most of the peoples from different regions in India. They come together, they make the unity and they fight against British rule in India, and then we got the freedom that we have seen here. They worked together to decide joint actions, they built two jails together and they found different ways to oppose the British. Now what they did? They do together fights, they go to the jail there, that's we have seen here. Interestingly, the British, that's we have seen, thought they could divide Indians because now they have decided British peoples, we have to divide. They were so different and they continue to rule them. They have decided to India divide into many parts. Mostly they have divided India Hindu and Muslim. Why they are done? Because they want to rule here for many years. But the people showed how they could be different and yet be united in their battle against the British. But still, the Indian peoples, they have together, they make unity and fight for India. Here you have seen this song, it is related to Jallianwala Bagh, how the peoples have affected there by the Britishers. This song was sung after the Jallianwala Bagh massacre in Amritsar, in which a British general opened fire on a large group of unarmed peaceful people, killing many and wounding even more. Men and women, Hindus, Sikhs and Muslims, rich and poor, had gathered to protest against the British. Now what happened here? In Jallianwala Bagh in Amritsar, the most people comes together against the British rule. They are not weapons in their hand. They are fighting peacefully against the Britishers. Still, the British officer who have fired on that peoples, and that it is here shown. This song was composed and sung to honor the memory of those brave people who have died in the Jallianwala Bagh. Here on their memories, the peoples have sung this song. Now next, songs and symbols that emerged during the freedom struggles serve as a constant reminder of our country's rich tradition of respect for diversity. Do you know the story of the Indian flag? Now we Yeah, good. Here we have syntax. Then it was used as a symbol of protest against the British by people everywhere. This is we have seen here. In his book, The Discovery of India, Jawaharlal Nehru says that Indian unity is not something imposed from the outside, but rather it was something deeper and within its fold. The widest tolerance of belief and custom was practiced and every variety acknowledged and even encouraged. It was Nehru who coined the phrase unity in diversity to describe the country. Unity in diversity, this phrase is used first by Jawaharlal Nehru here. Now that diversity it comes unity, what he has told, the Indian unity is not something imposed, means the Indian unity, it is not given by anyone to us, it is in our mind, it is in our heart that comes from our mind, our heart, that we have told, and who used this first time, that unity in diversity phrase. In this way we have completed here our chapter number 1 of civics. Thank you.